So in this video, I'm going to show you how you autofocus on a Nikon DSLR if you want to record videos. Stay tuned. So if you haven't watched my first video on how you autofocus on a Nikon camera with the step-by-step tutorial, link is in the description, make sure you watch that video first. But I've gotten a lot of comments where, hey Peter, my Nikon lens does not have that manual to autofocus switch, and how do I do it without that switch? Well, if you're arm's length away, all you need to do is go into your menu system, press the I for info, and go to AFS, which stands for autofocus single servo. Now that your camera is on autofocus for one time servo, think of one, all you have to do is half press your shutter while you're recording or before you're recording. Let it find focus, and now my face is in focus. And I can actually show you that it actually works. I can do it here, half press. And it doesn't hunt again. It is staying in that plane of focus. Half press the shutter again, and I'm still recording, as you can tell. And now I am in focus. And a lot of other comments go along the lines of, what if I'm not an arm's length away? How do I make sure I am still in focus? Well, that's the thing with having these Nikon cameras, is that if you put it on autofocus C, which means the Nikon camera will actually try to hunt you, then you might get issues such as being out of focus and having things out of focus and in focus and having back focus instead of the front focus. And I'll show you what I mean. Now I set the camera to AFF, and if you're more familiar, it's AFC. So autofocus continuous or full-time servo. In other words, now the Nikon camera is going to try to hunt me. And since I have face detection on, it is going to try to track my face. So now I am literally more than a hand's length away and I'm still in focus. But the thing with having autofocus full-time servo on a Nikon camera is that you can see that it keeps constantly trying to hunt my face, especially if I move. Because one of the downsides of having a Nikon camera is that it's cool if you do not move a lot. And now, as you can see, the Nikon camera is not hunting because the plane of focus is on my face and I'm not moving. But if I suddenly do any movements left to right, up close, which is, you can see that the autofocus does do a decent job if you're in well light conditions, but if you use an external mic, you will definitely hear the Nikon camera constantly hunting. And it also depends on the lens. Here's an example. And that's the sound of hunting. But luckily I have a Rodelink lavalier. So in other words, you won't hear the autofocus sound as much. So I can step far away as possible and you'll still have a little hunting, but that's how you solve that issue. So you put it on autofocus full-time servo and you don't have to half press to make sure you're in focus. But do be aware, if you make sudden movements, there are going to be places where your camera is going to pulse and hunt. And another way of how you solve this is that you pick up the remote adapter. Link is also in the description, which I don't need because I'm mostly at arm's length away of the camera or behind the camera, but you can also half press that to make sure you're in focus, and then you can press record through that remote. And that's another alternative of how you autofocus on a Nikon camera. So if you want to go and learn more of the in-depth step-by-step on how you actually know each mode, I've made 2 videos on tips how you improve your focus and autofocus on Nikon videos specifically for video. So I hope this video answered your guys' questions. My name is Peter. You're watching a broke visionary collective where we all start with nothing, but you can always create something. So if you like more of these driven content based on Nikon videos or your guys' comments, let me know in the comments below and I'll continue to make videos so you can always create something. Cheers.